Hull arrive with 6 straight defeats behind them. It's no fluke, the Blue Sox are up there with the best. They've beaten some of the biggest names, the champions beaten at Odsal. St Helens humbled here to make it play 3-1-3 at the new Shay. Halifax can mix it with the biggest in the business. Star of the show is Ferretti Tuilangi, the Western Samoan, whose 2 tries helped account for cup holders Sheffield last week. Freddie setting Super League alight. Veteran Carl Harrison's still here too, the leader of the pack, a former Hull star. He lifted the Premiership with them 8 years ago and wants more glory. Hull started 98 with straight wins, but since then they've slumped. Warrington should have been beaten, but John Roper had other ideas. Wigan made it 6 straight defeats for the side that swept to the First Division title last year. But the reinforcements have arrived. Craig Murdoch on loan from Wigan to replace unlucky Glenn Tomlinson, and he'll resurrect his career. The quiet achiever John Pendlebury, highest placed British coach in the game, head-to-head with Peter Walsh, who's facing difficult times. Yes, the Hull Sharks are finding it tough going in the Super League. After a great start, they arrive here at the new Shay with the worst record in the entire game, and they're stirring down the barrels of their 7th straight defeat. Now we'll look ahead to the action to come here in a few moments, but first of all, a result from earlier today in Australia. And New South Wales have squared the State of Origin series. They have beaten Queensland by 26 points to 10, and it sets up a decider in the 3-match series. And great news, you can see that decider live only on Sky Sports on Friday, June the 19th at 11 a.m. We'll be live at the Sydney Football Stadium. And what a day it will be for rugby league fans, because prior to our game at Leeds that night, we'll have an hour of highlights for you starting at 6:30 and then running into our build-up and kick-off at Headingley. It's a great weekend in prospect then, but let's face it, in Super League, when is it never a great weekend? This week we have the Coach of the Year with us, Matthew Elliott from the Bradford Bulls. And Matthew, with a defeat against Halifax not too long ago, painful memories for you here.
I probably focused on the inadequacies of our own performance after that game, but Halifax played extremely well, and we've propelled them into a rich vein of form from that day. They've rolled some pretty handy sides, so they'll be feeling pretty confident tonight.
They will, and I would imagine that Hull would as well, because despite the fact that they've gone 6 now without a win, they've come pretty close, and they did against you, didn't they? You only just got on top of them by 2 points.
Well, they've snatched defeat from the jaws of victory a couple of times. I watched them play Warrington the other day, and they need to do what Halifax have done, and that's learn to win. Halifax have found the way to win, and at the moment Hull have found a way to lose.
If you were a betting man, where would your money be running tonight?
Certainly not on Queensland. I'm devastated, and I'm a very poor prophet, and I don't stare at a crystal ball. So I think we're in for a really entertaining and tough match.
Well, it's never anything else, is it, in Super League 3? But, you know, it's always nice, isn't it, to see people coming back after a big setback in their life. And Jamie Bloom, the Halifax player, is one of those people. He, after a really big setback, is now back and very much in the big time again.
I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, you're a lucky boy. You know, I could have been out for a long time. I could have been out for life.
Jamie Bloom is lucky. He's back in the big time after 2 years in the wilderness following a ban for steroid use. Bloom was outstanding for Doncaster Dragons when they made their First Division bow in 1994. His fierce tackling stopped opponents in their tracks. His strength helped him get Doncaster off to a winning start. But then he was caught out when he failed a drugs test.
Doncaster was made very famous very quickly, and the players were suddenly cult heroes where before we were always a laughingstock. And in them 10 games before I got banned, you know, we were just heroes around town and around everywhere we went. And I think that fame went to some people's heads. It certainly went to mine. We got paid a lot of money very quickly, and it does affect people in different ways. And obviously I got power hungry and I wanted more and more, and obviously had the injuries and did something stupid.
Bloom was given a 2-year ban in December 1994, but instead of heading home for South Africa, he decided to stay in Britain.
Number one, I wasn't going to run away from it. You know, I'd made a mistake, I'd done the wrong thing, and it didn't help, you know, put my tail to my legs and running home. I thought I'd stay out here to prove people wrong. You know, I didn't want to be known as a loser all my life, and I said to myself, if I'm going to do it, I've got to do it right.
Jamie Bloom, now 27, has been given another chance, first by Doug Lawton at Widnes, where he scored 9 tries in 12 games this year. John Pendlebury, the Halifax coach, watched him closely before signing him in April for the Blue Sox.
Just before the end of my ban, I set myself 2 goals in life. I said, number 1, I'm going to get myself back in Super League again, and number 2, I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people bagged me at the time and in the papers and stuff like that. And signing for Halifax is, I've accomplished my first goal now, and now I've got a 3-year contract here. And by the end of that 3 years, I hope to prove to all them people that I'm a good enough player to be here, and I warrant my position.
Jamie Bloom waiting for his chance when he gets on the field from the bench tonight. Now then, who else are the players to watch? Well, Steve-O has his views, of course.
Chris Chester is one of the brightest young footballers in the country, and despite being only 19 years of age, will make his 50th appearance for the Blue Sox tonight. The 6'2" standoff has this amazing ability of creating so much space and giving himself time even against some of the quickest defences. He's in fine form, and he must have been somewhat disappointed at missing out on selection for the emerging England side who take on Wales in July. As first receiver, he runs the angle using 2 dummy runners. The first coming back on the inside, the second foil going out wide. Chester will now hold up a delayed pass, but not to this front dummy runner, but for the late arriving David Bouvang, who will follow in the same channel. The dummy runner now peels away at the very last moment, which leaves a huge gap for the big Australian centre to crash through the surprise defence. One man who can stop Halifax's winning streak is Hull's blockbusting winger, Saroo. Now, the Fijian international is in fine form, having scored 3 tries in his past 2 games. The sign of a top-class wingman is having the ability to read the play and be in the right position to take advantage of creative passes, especially near the touchline. On this occasion, Baildon has started to run across the face of the defence. Notice how this type of run fails to attract one defender out of the sliding defensive line. Whilst the ball carrier runs wide, so does the defence. Saroo now realises that the timing to come off the wing is crucial. We can already see now that 2 defenders have committed themselves to Baildon, who was offloaded to the big Fijian winger. But more importantly, the 3rd sliding defender has come far too wide, leaving Saroo the opportunity to go through the gap. The Sharks often stretch the defence this way, so any slack positional play from Halifax will be punished severely, especially from Saroo, who has a wonderful step for such a big man. And there's a man who will be striving to give the big 3/4 Saroo every chance to score tonight. Murdoch's debut performance this evening could be the vital ingredient needed for Hull to pull off that shock win. Halifax have yet to be beaten here at the new Shay, but Murdoch's all-round skills should get the Sharks 3/4 line running hot. But it won't be easy, for he faces a formidable opponent in the Australian Gavin Clinch. The young kid from down under is in sensational form, and his successful combination with standoff Chester is one of the main reasons for the Blue Sox's great start this term. The talented scrum half is a creative player with a deceptive turn of pace, and is no slouch when it comes to scoring tries, having crossed for 5 already in 98. His clash tonight with Murdoch will be explosive. Whoever gets on top early in the game can expect to pick up that winning bonus.
So Halifax against Hull kicks off another exciting weekend of the Super League. Elsewhere we have Castleford Tigers against the Saints at Weldon Road. They kick off at 3:30 Sunday. Cup holders Sheffield, who will remember their last trip to the capital with fond memories. This week it's London Broncos at 3. Warrington take on the champions, the Bradford Bulls, at Wilderspool. Kick-off 6:35. And Wigan against Salford completes the fixture list in round 9. Kick-off at Central Park, 3 o'clock. A few minutes ago, the 2 captains, Alan Hunt on the right, the Hull Sharks captain, and Carl Harrison, captain of Halifax, tossed the coin. Talk to referee Steve Ganson. Now let's hear from the 2 men.
Let's have a word with the 2 captains. Carl Harrison first. Carl, you're the form side. You've got to be confident going into this one against the bottom side.
Obviously, I mean, we're playing well, but tonight's really important for us. It's no point winning away at London, Bradford and St Helens if you're going to get beat by Hull at home.
Well, we'll see, Alan. It's really a big job for the Hull Sharks, isn't it? You're not in the best of form.
No, 6 games without a win, so this makes this even more vital. But it's something that we knew was going to be. Every game's vital, and we've come here hopefully to do the business and come away with the goods.
2 candidates there, I fancy, for the man of the match tonight, and if you pick out the man of the match correctly and then your name is fed out of our computer, you could be at this place on the big night, the night of the grand final, October the 24th at the Theatre of Dreams under the floodlights. That's the telephone number that you should ring when you want to cast your vote with about 20 minutes of this game to go. If you do pick out the right man and your name comes out, as I say, you get 2 grand final tickets for Saturday, October the 24th, and then you go forward to the draw to win that VIP box at Old Trafford for the big event. And the event will not be much bigger than that this year in the Super League. The grand final beckons, and Halifax, the surprise packages of Super League 3. And their crowds are up here at the new Shay. They love the place, they're 4th in the table, and they are on a winning run, and this is the way that their side lines up. Martin Pearson is their fullback. Dio Powell, Damien Gibson, David Bouveng and Ferretti Tuilangi, the 3-quarters. Chris Chester and Gavin Clinch. Then up front it's big Carl Harrison, he's 34 years young. Paul Rowley and Kelvin Skerritt. Gary Mercer and Carl Gillespie, the second row. Martin Moana is the loose forward. And on the bench, Des Clark, the Aussie, Simon Baldwin, Richard Marshall and Jamie Bloom, who we saw in our pre-match build-up. He's just anxious for his opportunity. He waits for the nod from coach John Pendlebury. Now the Hull Sharks, and they are desperate for a win. Steve Prescott at fullback. Alan Hunt's the skipper, he's on the wing. David Baildon has moved inside alongside Philly Saroo, and it's Jamie Smith on the other wing. Gary Lester and Craig Murdoch, the Wigan man on his debut, on loan from Central Park. And up front, it's Jason Timu, once of Oldham, Brad Heppy, Hitro Okasini, Matt Schultz and Steve Barrow, another Wiganer on loan, and Logan Campbell is the loose forward. And on the bench then, it's Steve Cratham, Jim Leatham, Lee Radford and David Stevenson, and the coach, the Australian Peter Walsh. This is the Halifax dressing room, 4th in the table, as I say, can create their own little bit of history here. They have never won 4 in a row in Super League before. They are on a 3-match winning sequence. But the Hull Sharks, it's very much the other end of the coin for them. They won their first 2 at Sheffield and at home to London, but they have now lost 6 in a row. Injuries have played havoc, but they have 3 new faces now. Steve Barrow and Craig Murdoch from Wigan. Dean Busby back from St Helens, but remarkably, he is out injured today. Just those 2 victories then for Hull in Super League 3. 6 straight defeats behind them. Big night there for Craig Murdoch, just going through the screen. They can score tries, but they're shipping them in at an alarming rate. And Steve Prescott, their fullback, is their top scorer. Jim Leatham is the man who does all the tackling for them. 180 personal tackles this year. Out comes Alan Hunt then, Great Britain international, England international, not scored for the last 4, but a great try against Halifax for St Helens last year in the Saints' victory. And Halifax are anxious by the looks of things to get this game in motion. Carl Harrison leading his men out. 6 wins from 8 starts. A top 5 finish is now probable on that form. Just the 2 defeats in 1998. 29 tries scored, almost the same record as Hull, but the tries conceded is the big difference. 25 as opposed to 33. Look out for Gavin Clinch, and Paul Rowley does tons of work, the hooker. 229 tackles in Super League 3 so far. So Halifax about to come out, and it's a big day for the Tuilangi family. Ferretti Tuilangi leads them out, and the mascot, although he doesn't look too happy about it, is 3-year-old Brian Tuilangi, Freddie's young son. Well, he wasn't too impressed with coming out into all the noise, and he's being looked after by a member of the local constabulary. no doubt looking for his mum now in the stands. It always is that way, isn't it? The best laid plans of mice and men. I know exactly how he feels, because I'm in tears every Friday night because I'm sat alongside this fellow.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. They are a fearsome outfit, aren't they? The Halifax Blue Sox. Not only the sun's turned a little bit grey and fearsome, and I'm sure that Hull realised that it's going to be a pretty warm welcome here at the new Shay. Not only are Halifax playing with outstanding football, they really have become very enterprising, but let's not forget they have a very experienced set of 6 in the pack. Harrison and Skerritt, they don't come much tougher than that, so expect a little bit of explosive action from those 2 prop forwards, because opposite them, Jason Timu and Hitro Okasini.
Well, Steve Ganson is out there in the middle of the fog. It's the firecrackers, really, that have just left this touch of smoke across this field. But isn't it a marvellous picture now, the new Shay? Development work going on around this ground, and they hope to be up to almost 11 or 12,000 capacity by the time that Bradford are here in August. But meanwhile, it's the Hull Sharks who are here tonight, and the game is on, and Hull Sharks taking the first tackle. Terrific chase it was too from the entire Halifax front row. Harrison, Skerritt and Rowley in there very quickly, and again Skerritt and Rowley in with Carl Gillespie. This now is Brad Heppy, and once more Skerritt gets in with a 3rd straight tackle on the run. The big Welsh international, Great Britain international prop forward, he looks up for this as well.
We said they wouldn't take any prisoners, and they are showing their strength very early in the piece. Carl Harrison throwing his weight, heading to the low tackle by Paul Rowley. The front rows from both sides, very strong and extremely enterprising.
The kick downfield from Murdoch bounces kindly into the arms of Martin Pearson.
Okay, move! Come on, back here, Jace.
Good chase, though, downfield by the Hull defence. First use of the football, then, for the Blue Sox.
Stand with me. Foot on the ball. Foot on the ball.
Tuilangi plays the ball. Mercer, oh, that's a big hit on Mercer. That's the way it looks in league meetings between these two since 1973, but at Halifax, as you can see, Halifax do hold the upper hand. This is the first meeting of these two here at the new Shay. All those previous matches between Hull and Halifax at the old Thrum Hall ground. Gillespie with a good driving run and gets a penalty, trying to get to his feet. Logan Campbell wouldn't let him up.
Nice to see the official getting in very quickly. Steve Ganson, the referee, will have none of that, and you can see the loose forward, Logan Campbell, the experience showing, but I'm afraid he was caught there by the official. Nice to see. Looks like we're going to get an open game from the official anyway.
Dio Powell drives the ball in on the first tackle, this set of 6, 25 metres away from the Hull line. Rowley to Harrison. Looked a touch forward, that.
Touch? Dear me, they were looking to get away with it. Harrison had really run past.
Nice movement, though, from the Blue Sox. That's Skerritt. He's hauled down. Good tackling by Craig Murdoch, but the second man in is penalised, Matt Schultz.
Means business, doesn't he? Ganson said, I wanted him to get up and play the ball, and Schultz had a second bite at him. You can see Skerritt was eager to get on with the game. It's no good Schultz shaking his head. This should be a gift, 2 points.
Well, it was a glittering 1997 for the Hull Sharks, and Tavita Vaikona, of course, the First Division Player of the Year. There's the runner-up, Matt Schultz. Tavita Vaikona has left for pastures new. He's at Bradford Bulls with our guest Matthew Elliott in 1998. And Hull really are finding the going tough in the Super League at the moment. But here's a golden opportunity for Halifax, and Martin Pearson, Peter Walsh, the Hull coach, watching on and bemoaning his luck that his side had been pinged twice for interference at the play of the ball. 18 goals so far this season for Pearson, 2 tries and 44 points in all. This is bang in front, and he makes absolutely sure. So Halifax have a 2-0 lead early, and their gates are up here at the new Shay compared to the last couple of years for Halifax.
A few degrees warmer here than, of course, it used to be at the hill at Thrum Hall. Still quite cold, though. We certainly haven't got summer conditions tonight, but there'll be plenty of warmth out there on the paddock, that I am sure. But the message, Eddie, has got out very quickly, and I'm sure both coaches, Pendlebury and Walsh, will get the message to the players, do not lay on.
And that's going to be a penalty against Skerritt. He was messing around with Heppy, pushing and shoving off the ball. Kelvin Skerritt did not like the challenge on him, and the referee wants a word. But he pushed Brad Heppy out the way and then just flicked at him with his hand as he went to pick up the ball.
Well, he went looking for him, and when he found him, there was quite a few words to be said. And he pushed away, and as you can see in the background there, he had a second bite of that cherry. No chance for Brad Heppy to get to the dummy half situation. Well, lack of discipline there by Skerritt. He's had a nice opening.
He has. The front row of Halifax, Harrison, Rowley and Skerritt, been doing a wonderful job in the opening 5 minutes here, going in all the time for the tackle. There they are again, the two prop forwards, and Skerritt and Heppy again squaring up to each other, and Skerritt is being lulled into a bit of a battle here, but this is a break from Murdoch. Lovely break, gets the ball away. Ocassini takes it to the 10-metre line. That's a great break from Murdoch, and now Hull has a penalty, and someone's on his way to the bin. Martin Moana is going for 10 minutes.
Well, he's not having it. You've heard him say that, Steve Ganson. But what a neat little break by Craig Murdoch, making his debut for Hull, on loan from Wigan. And you can see that it was just a little bit of a push there, but it was sufficient. Murdoch went through some feeble tackling. He's still got that pace as Murdoch, especially off the mark. From a standing start, he's a difficult man to put down. Wasn't difficult for that man to put someone down. And the pressure well and truly on now. Halifax, their coach, John Pendlebury, he rules the fact that he's down to 12 now.
Yes, Moana in the bin, and Jamie Smith with the goal attempt, trying a couple of goals against Wigan last week, gets the 2 points into the building side here at the new Shay. Of course, Halifax Town have regained their Football League status, and Halifax Blue Sox are in Super League. Big rebuilding plans here.
Beautiful step off the left foot, but you can see quite clearly that the first and second marker were very slow to move forward, and it just allowed him to gain that momentum. There's the incident again, just a little push down right in front of the official.
So Hull are level against Halifax. Prescott with the kick-off. Underneath it was the scrum half Gavin Clinch. He gave the ball inside, but terrific chasing from Schultz and company there. Nowhere for Gillespie to go. This is Mercer now, and Mercer penned inside his own 10-metre line as well. Well, Hull are desperate for the victory, and their opening exchanges here against Halifax prove it.
Pretty good defence as well. They're moving very quickly out wide. You can see them really getting off the mark.
Big hit from Ocassini on Carl Harrison, while Heppy had hold of the Halifax skipper's ankles. Now, the Blue Sox try and move it, and they do move it wide to Powell. The pass, though, from Bouveng was a little powerful, to say the least. This is Clinch, under pressure from Heppy, gets the kick in and finds touch. Good kick, too.
He's in fine form as the halfback, Australian Gavin Clinch. We highlighted him just before the kick-off. He's one of the reasons why Halifax have been playing some outstanding football.
And our guest tonight, Matthew Elliott, will know all about Gavin Clinch, because he had him as a junior at the St George Club in Australia before he came over here to plot the rise and rise of the Bradford Bulls. That's Matthew Elliott, of course. Gavin Clinch plotting the rise and rise of the Halifax Blue Sox. So having to defend here against this set of six from Hull. Prescott flicks the ball back to Baildon, and good chasing from Gibson, who hauled him down. Now Murdoch, good run from Ocassini on the angle, and Mercer stood his ground.
Quite obviously the halfback Craig Murdoch controlling things out there, trying to keep things moving, bringing the man back on the angle. I must say he's had a good start as a prop forward, Ocassini.
Murdoch, good ball.
Well, that should have been a penalty. You could see Harrison had taken out a whole player without the football. The official didn't see it.
Barrow plays the ball. Murdoch gives it back to Prescott. Prescott's kick over the top, and that's a penalty. Murdoch was offside, but he says it actually came off a Halifax arm. Protests his innocence, but Steve Ganson will have none of it.
Well, it certainly did come off a Halifax player, but whether it was a deliberate attempt to try to get to the football, the kick ricocheted away, but you can see the referee said it was not play on. That's why the penalty was given.
And that's why Halifax now are inside the 20-metre zone. Rowley gives it a bit of air and finds Harrison, who bounces away from 2, gets away from 3, looks for support, stands, eventually has to take the tackle. It was desperation stuff from Alan Hunt and Steve Prescott. Rowley to clinch. And Clinch loses it. What a hit that was on the little halfback.
Jason Timu came over the top and he just ricocheted the ball there. The impact was quite outstanding. Well, a big chance gone begging there. The big prop forward, Carl Harrison. He went through 3 feeble attempted tackles, turned. There was only Rowley that had gone through already. He couldn't get it away then, but poor support play, and that's a poor pass.
That's a shocker, and it looked as though it had bounced forward, and the referee agrees now. Heffy, he didn't look, did he?
Well, he went backwards first, and then decided to go forward. Lack of concentration there.
The referee has called it as a knock-on.
Get a good breather, stay away.
Well, that surprised me. It was definitely going backwards in the first place.
Clinch then feeds the scrum. He gets it away, and here's Pearson. Pearson with a little half break, and they manage to hang on to his shirt tails. Now then, this is Barrow. This is, I beg your pardon, this is Chester.
Well, both sides losing the plot somewhat, mainly due to the fact you can see that the defence is coming up so quickly.
Gillespie dropped that under pressure from Saroo, and Hull have got it back.
They're forcing the issue. Now both sides have to realise that the defence is very, very keen. That means that you've got to go back an extra couple of metres. If they won't allow you the room, you've got to find it yourself.
That was a great tackle from Gillespie just before that one. Mercer and Rowley doing the job then. This is Murdoch. Elusive little character, Murdoch. I've been amazed really that he has been content until this moment to cool his heels in the second grade side at Wigan, but now here he is with the opportunity to resurrect his Super League career on Humberside.
Well, he's got a lot to prove, hasn't he?
Lovely break. That's Leicester, and he finds Seru, and Philly Seru plonks it down behind the posts. Well, we saw Gary Leicester torment Warrington a couple of weeks ago on Bank Holiday Monday, and he's tormented Halifax here. He's placed it on a plate for Seru, and Cero, the Fijian, gets the try.
Wonderful play by Gary Leicester. Throws an enormous dummy out there. And I'm afraid David Bouvang took it so easy. He runs the angle and throws an enormous dummy. Bouvang goes through. Bye-bye, he said. Back on the inside. Well, that looked like just a training run. But this man, Seru, he reads the game so well.
Well, we were impressed with him up on Humberside when we saw Hull against Warrington on that Bank Holiday Monday. He was outstanding there at scrum half. Now he is playing at standoff alongside Murdoch. And Jamie Smith adds the extras. And Hull are ahead here at the new Shay by 8 points to 2.
Bouvang's the man that circled. He's gone out wide. They failed to fill in. But let's not take anything away from Leicester. Move the body across. What great support play there by Saroo. I mentioned just a minute ago that the big block-busting three-quarter Cero, he reads it so well. Knows when to come in at the right time.
Gillespie with the run. Remember that try coming against Halifax with Martin Moana in the sin bin. Still a couple of minutes of that sentence to pass. So it's been an expensive little indiscretion from Martin Moana 8 minutes ago. His team now are trailing, and John Pendlebury, the quiet achiever of the Super League, one of only 4 English coaches.
Well, we said before this game started that it would be important. The battle of the halfbacks, Gavin Clinch, who has been in outstanding form. Craig Murdoch, on loan from Wigan, who we mentioned, has got a lot to prove. But Gary Leicester, he's not going to be left in the outside lane for too long. That was a beautiful play from him.
That was a great chase, though, from Tuilangi, which puts Hull under pressure. And it's the Sharks now trying to work this ball away from their own line. Bouveng gets to Baildon with a bit of help from Harrison.
Bit of a
Here's
height.
Murdoch again. Oh, what a crunching tackle on Murdoch. That took the wind out of his sails, and it was from Gillespie.
Was it ever? Gillespie goes low again on that occasion. And he's hurt, I think, is Gillespie.
Yes, he's done a shoulder by the looks of it. He's clutching the right arm.
Well, he certainly was involved in all those 3 tackles. The first one looked a bit, should we say, high.
And Baildon with a little chip over the top, but straight into touch. Just losing his bearings a little bit on this new Shay Stadium. The pitch is a good 10-15 metres in from this stand on this near side. And Baildon obviously thought that there was a little more space to utilise than there actually was.
Well, they went for the power play there on the blind side. It was on. Because I must say that the Halifax defence on this short blind was very weak.
Harrison driving the ball over the halfway line for the Blue Sox. Kelvin Skerritt now. And it's Heppy who stands firm. It's been a real battle between those two in the opening quarter of an hour already. 6-0. The league leaders are up against Huddersfield of Headingley after 15 minutes. Little chip over the top. Prescott ready well.
Tuilangi, he went far too high. It was a beautiful little chip over by Gavin Clinch. Prescott was equal to the task, but he deserved something a little bit lesser than that. And Tuilangi, who had a good chase, makes contact. Well, I've seen them go for that. That certainly was swinging for a fair long time before he made contact with Prescott.
Halifax now back to the full complement of 13 players. Martin Moana returns, and he returned at the moment that Tuilangi set off on that chase downfield, and Halifax could have been down to 12 permanently. Lost the ball, Hull, but he was stolen. Penalty to the Sharks.
And we can see a little bit of claret coming from the right eye. For Kelvin Skerritt, we said it was going to be pretty tough in the exchange between the forwards. And keep your eye out for that man just about to pick the ball up, Brad Heppy, the hooker on the Hull side. Skerritt and Heppy, they are just at each other all the time. If it's not verbals, it's contact.
Jamie Smith plays it to Heppy. He finds Murdoch. Murdoch then to Prescott, who loves to chime into the line. He did this to such good effect at St Helens in his career there, and he's carried on up at the Boulevard.
Quite a few of these Halifax players going far too high. They're forgetting the basic principles of one going low. All right, second man can come in and make sure they can't offload the football, but you've got to get someone on the legs first.
This is Philly Saroo, and he gets the pass away. And Barrow was able to keep hold of the football. Leicester to Murdoch, dabs the ball through. Murdoch chased it himself. Good covering though by his opposite number, Gavin Clinch.
Well, they don't have to get out of the way, and you can see that Murdoch certainly had 2 players to go in between. Well spotted though by Clinch, the Australian. He anticipated that kick through.
Dio Powell with great strength. He bounced 3 off, he bounces 4 off, then he gets finished off by 2 more coming in.
Well, the disease is spreading.
Penalty, offside.
They're going far too high. There's a lot of aggression out there. And the referee, Steve Ganson, perhaps has cooled things down. We mentioned early in the game that they were eager to get off the mark. In this defensive line, he spotted it on that occasion. Roccassini, who's had a warm opening to this game.
Here's Dio Powell again. And they're going to have to get Skerritt off and into the blood bin to have that eye attended to. This, meanwhile, is his prop forward colleague, Carl Harrison.
Well, you can see Harrison again spinning in the tackle, but there's no support play.
Mercer pops the ball back to Rowley, who straightens it up. And Timu is in there pretty quickly. So too Brad Heppy. Now Clinch. And Gillespie. He has to take the tackle, though, from Logan Campbell.
Far too shallow was Carl Gillespie there. He was taking the football, stood still.
Out wide it goes to Tuilangi. Tuilangi with support back to Gibson, who gets the try. Gibson started it, Gibson finished it. Lovely little 1-2 between Gibson and Tuilangi, and Damien Gibson, the former Leeds full-back and centre, comes up with his third try of Super League 3 here at Halifax.
Great play, kept the ball alive, they pulled him in the middle, it was a good long pass out wide. They really did shift it out there, and Gibson fed the winger back on the inside. Good support play. But the beautiful long ball, that's what stretched them. But Gibson didn't finish. Once Tuilangi went, stepped back on the inside, an outside pass. Blue Sox are back.
David Gibson, he joined from Leeds at the end of last year, ever present so far. Only played twice in last year's full-back berth, and of course the berth that he had for the Leeds Rhinos in 1997. Well, this is a far more testing kick for Martin Pearson. Best goal kicker on Halifax's books now that John Schuster is departed. Pearson lining up his sights. Just in front of the posts. Pearson doesn't get the extras. Halifax still trail.
4 in the sliding defence. Mercer gets a football, long ball out wide. The rest is the overlap. Gibson did well, offloaded first, but look how he trails around on the outside. Wonderful support play. That's a fine effort. Hull were caught short. The sliding defence was very slow. The claret pours out of Skerritt. It's been one of those games.
Skerritt's off in the blood bin, and Des Clark has come on. 4th appearance at substitute for Des Clark, formerly with Balmain, and then the Gold Coast. But now, referee puts the scrum down.
Certainly came off the body of Brad Heppy.
And it's a knock-on against Hull.
Okasini trying to offload. He did well, but you could see that Heppy was stood still. It's happening on both sides. The chances are there. They're spinning in the tackle. The half chance, but there's no support play.
Moana picks up from the base of the scrum. He looks on his inside and finds Tuilangi. A real hero in this part of the world is Ferretti, or Freddie Tuilangi, as he's known on the terraces. Now Mercer. That was a great tackle from Schultz. Here's Pearson, the full-back has joined in. These are desperate moments for Hull. Can they hold them out? Rowley to Clinch. Out wide it comes from Clinch, and this is Moana. Moana looking for support. Gibson was there, but he'd overrun it. Gillespie picks up the pieces. Now Clark.
Oh, big hit there by Okasini. Got a knock in the face as well.
High kick, catches the wind, and good leap from the full-back. The ball was stolen, but, well, the referee has given Hull the penalty.
Well, I think it was taken out. I think Jamie Smith, Tuilangi took Jamie Smith out, but he can see he's saying that he took the ball away, and then he pushes him out. It was Prescott that took the football, but Tuilangi says, get out of the way. Can't just stop me like that. And then he just got that hand into the man carrying the football. Pressure off now. But it was a neat little kick over into the corner. Tuilangi says, get out of the way of Jamie Smith. Could it have been obstruction? Either way, the official said no.
But he gave the penalty for stealing the ball in the tackle.
Well, it's a hard one to define. If you've got your back to the opposition and you don't move, then it can't be classed as obstruction. The man wants to go around you, fair enough. And he just stood there. Now, if it had moved a fraction either way, perhaps it could have been obstruction. I think the referee got it right.
Neat little step from Chris Chester, and interference from Steve Prescott. Penalty to Halifax. Well, the Halifax fans are wondering when Mr. Ganson will be putting a whole shark in the bin after his early clampdown on Martin Moana.
Well, Prescott should have gone. He should have gone for a 10-minute sin bin.
Little doubt about it. I know I keep repeating it, but the rules state once you've made the tackle, you roll away. Not over the top of the man trying to play the football.
Come on.
And you can hear the referee shouting out to the players, discipline, discipline. And as Eddie mentioned, the Halifax fans not too impressed with the official, not putting that man on the bench in the sin bin.
A chance here then for Martin Pearson to level the scores. 2 points on offer here from this penalty. More than 1,500 points for Pearson in his career now, and an unusual style as well from the kicker. But unusual or not, he's come up with the goods, and it's all squared at the new Shay. 8 points all. They're enjoying this. Trust you are as well.
Very confident connection there by Pearson. He's an established player, he knows what it's all about. Trying to find the football, which appears to have gone missing. Asking for the pigskin, and there it comes.
Meanwhile, Hull have made a change. Steve Barrow, who impressed his coach last week on his debut, goes off, and Lee Radford comes on. Only 19. 2 tries against Castleford as a substitute in May. I'm sure that Peter Walsh wants him to do exactly the same here tonight. But that's terrific defence.
Oh, they really are getting into it now. Again, we see the loose forward, Martin Moana. He's working overtime.
And there was Radford, his first touch.
And I think that's about the first time we've seen Alan Hunt, the Sharks skipper, getting involved in the game.
He gets a penalty off the referee, and no wonder Carl Harrison shaking his head. I think Mr. Ganson has been, is the word conned?
Well, it's Academy Award stuff, isn't it? And Carl
he had
Harrison.
a hand on him, there's no doubt about that, but I don't think it was exactly that sort of pressure.
Well, I suppose it's worth it. They try the professional foul, they may as well try the professional con-act.
Baildon. To be fair, he did have a hand on him. He's not supposed to do that, Carl Harrison. He's supposed to release immediately, but...
Well, they could penalise all day if that was the case.
Could have been a penalty there against Mercer. Murdoch, out wide it goes. Good run from Schultz. Schultz keeps going. And 10 metres short of the line, he's hauled down. Hunt at dummy half. He gets it away to Ocassini. Ocassini thought about the pass, but took the tackle. The last, Heppy to Murdoch. Murdoch gives it a bit of width. Little dab through, and it was watched perfectly by Gavin Clinch. Leicester just trying to dab it through there.
And tremendous play by the Australian Gavin Clinch. A lot of players would have kicked the ball upfield and taken the chance. Clinch knew that possession was important. They were under pressure there. Gary Leicester opted for the kick on the ground rather than the bomb.
Tuilangi, such a difficult man to put down. Schultz could have been penalised there for the flop. Clinch misses out one and finds Pearson. Pearson to Moana. Moana to Powell. Keeping the movement going beautifully here. That's lovely play. That's forward.
Forward, surely.
Powell bounces off too. Baildon gets to him in the end.
Well, that was so forward. He was on his way to Manchester.
Clinch sees a big space, but Prescott had soon filled in. Good play from the fullback too.
Well gathered in by Mercer. But what a great step by Steve Prescott. It's always a confidence booster when you've got a full-back that's not only good with defensive stuff, but can get you out of a bit of a problem getting those 15, 20 metres. They're so vital.
Schultz plays the ball to Heppy. He finds Murdoch, and Murdoch to Ocassini. Good tackling. Great tackling there from Marshall, Richard Marshall. Just taken Carl Gillespie's place for the Halifax Blue Sox. That's young Lee Radford. He gets to his feet, plays the ball to Heppy. Here's Murdoch again, the kicking over the top. A chase here for Campbell, but Pearson got to it first. He goes to get round Baildon, but Baildon scrags him to the floor. 28.5 minutes gone. Level pegging at the Shay. 8 points apiece. Powell for Halifax. Can't get through Heppy or Timu.
Works overtime, does the Sharks hooker Brad Heppy. And you can see we talk about the defence coming up quickly. Hunt on that occasion, never going to allow the big Tuilangi to get away.
Mercer on the run. Schultz had to come in and finish him off because Hunt had let slip. Big hit on Marshall.
Cassini's put himself about. Some of these connections, the impact. Oh, he's there again. This time going low. Really does take it out. That's, well, he tried to get away. Nice work by the hooker, Rowley.
Last tackle, that's why the kick came in. And it's now picked up by Jamie Smith. Jamie Smith is then picked up by Rowley and by Gibson. Good chase from Halifax on that occasion.
Was it ever?
David Baildon now. Ankle tapped by Bouveng, not held. This time finished off by Powell. Here's Saroo. Baildon in a dummy half.
Good work. They've made it to the 35 metres from that kick downfield. You mentioned he was good. It was the hooker Rowley that put it in. 50 metres downfield. He was there to put the tackle. Neat little pass there by Prescott.
Radford is tackled low by Bouveng. This is Heppy and now Murdoch. He looks on his inside and sees the runner. And the runner was Timu. This is Radford. Back it goes to Prescott, who hoists the kick out wide. Looking for Alan Hunt, looking for Matt Schultz. Prescott followed up and put them all onside. Flops the ball back. Timu flicks it over the top to Ocassini. This is still the last tackle. That bounces off Mercer's legs. Mercer had a wild fly hack at that. That's 6 to go. Mercer saying he was impeded as he tried to get that ball, was tackled without it. Referee just wipes the tackle count down.
I think the official was right as well. It ricocheted through. Mercer was the man that it came off, and there was nothing untoward about that. But good work by Heppy. He had to scramble back as quick as he could.
So Hull on attack again with Murdoch, and he gives it to Timu. He was so impressive for Oldham in that disastrous year for them in 1997, and now he's here at the Hull Sharks. This is Leicester, just holds it up.
Well, the advance in defence, the one way you can break them down is the kick. But a little bit better one than that, I'm afraid.
Yes, that was simple for Pearson. Tuilangi picked up and dropped on his back. Little fashion note for you, Steve-O. You might be interested that Tuilangi's hair, they are elastic bands that are holding the dreadlocks in place.
Well, I didn't think they were mosquitoes, coloured somewhat. Not at this weather anyway.
Here's Moana.
Elastic bands, eh?
Yes, multicoloured elastic bands.
I must find out the technique. I suppose I could wear one right round the circumference.
Mercer is dropped to the ground. There is a suggestion, Steve-O, that there isn't an elastic band big enough for that particular job. Penalty to Halifax, meanwhile, offside against Hull.
They were disappointed with that. They were really applying the pressure. Well, we've mentioned it so many times in this first half that they are that eager, especially out wide. They do it to try to force the opposition to play down that central corridor. They can look after it quite easy if they can do that, but I must say referee Steve Ganson has been really on the ball tonight.
About 7 minutes to half-time, all square. Hull enjoying the better of the possession, but 8 points apiece on the scoreboard. And it's Halifax who are in possession. Rowley. Now Moana. A flying ankle tap, and it was a good one too from Craven. It had to be. Clinch. Little gaps opened up for Clinch. He spins, look for the second effort, loses it, and Craven does well to drop on the loose ball. I think it's Craven. No, it isn't.
Well, again, we saw there, Clinch had all the time in the world to struggle away from the would-be tacklers, but where was the support? There should have been someone there earlier. That's what's letting Halifax down so badly.
Good run from Baildon, and he cuts inside Clinch, and he goes through Pearson, and he loses his boot in the tackle, but gets the try. What a terrific run from David Baildon that was. Went down the wing, bounced through 3 tacklers, escaped the clutches of Pearson, lost the boot, but gets the 4. Great try.
What an individual effort this is. Baildon showed all his class there. Saroo, they put into the centre, switched Baildon out onto the wing. They were the other way around against Warrington in that dramatic late-minute loss, but what a wonderful effort by Baildon. Good work by Saroo. See how he sucked in the winger, left him completely left for dead. Dio Powell. Nothing that Leicester could do about that. He may have lost a boot, but he won't care. That is absolutely wonderful play there by Baildon. An outstanding individual effort, but well worked though with Saroo.
Well, David Baildon back in the side on the wing after his first centre appearance in Super League against Wigan. An Australian winger who came from Workington Town last winter. And he can finish, as he has just proved. Well, Hull will be wise to remember that they led by a 10-point margin in the second half at Warrington and then lost on Bank Holiday Monday to a last-minute try here at the new Shay, courtesy of the kick from Radford. They lead by, from Smith rather, they lead by 6 points.
You can see that Dio Powell has gone in to go opposite Philly Cero, and when he offloads out wide, superb pass there. He takes it well. Look at the explosive speed, in and out, and then out about again.
So Halifax again with it all to do, and Peter Walsh just in the background there. He will be well pleased with his team's display. Certainly a lot tougher defensively than they were against Warrington. And Craven complaining that he was being held down then, but the referee would have none of it, and he wants a word with the captain, Alan Hunt.
So last time I've done the deal with them. They've had enough warnings. Next time someone's going in the sin bin. It's up to you now. All right, okay. So Hull now know, and John Pendlebury, the Halifax coach, who saw one of his players sent to the sin bin, he now knows that next time Hull transgress, maybe one of them will be on the way for 10 minutes. Dio Powell with this run. Whoa, what a hit from Timu. That's what he did all last year for Oldham, and Powell felt that. He's on his haunches.
Well, I think Powell was looking to see whether it was a truck, a bus. No, it wasn't. It was a prop forward, Jason Timu.
The ball was knocked forward by Pearson, said referee Steve Ganson.
And I think he's right. Well, it's boiling over here, and I think it's more to the fact that Halifax have been hustled and muscled off the football. They really are being crunched out of this game, and I think they're being psyched a bit. Definitely went forward, just because he had his body facing the front towards his own sticks. Doesn't mean to say you can't knock on.
It's pretty hot in that scrum, I'll tell you. The referee's having a devil's own job to keep the two packs apart. Murdoch feeds the scrum and gets it. This is Leicester. Good ball back on the inside to Alan Hunt, and he nearly cut them open up the middle.
That's one thing that John Pendlebury, I'm sure, will be selling his Halifax team to forget about the rough, tough stuff. Let's get back into the swing of things.
Another penalty to Hull, messing around. Mercer says that he was making the movement to try and get off the grounded player, but he also had Moana in there as well. Moana's already had one spell in the bin.
Well, it's no good just lifting one arm. Once you've made the effort to do the tackle, see Martin Moana over the top, then Mercer.
Campbell did well there, didn't he, Logan Campbell? He kept the legs going to give the impression he wanted to get up off the ground. That's why Mercer's been penalised.
Well, he may have milked it that way, but the reason why he was penalised is because Mercer did everything opposite what it says about the rules of once you've made the tackle, roll off. Not conduct the symphony orchestra with your right arm
and hold him down with the left. And then look in absolute dismay at Steve Ganton, saying, how on earth could you give that penalty? When are they going to grow up and understand that these guys with a whistle are the boss?
The gospel according to Steve-O. Meanwhile, a miss for Jamie Smith.
That could be vital.
It was bang in front, only 30 metres, well I say only, but 30 metres out, but bang in front of the posts. Just pushed it the wrong side.
Well, Smith knows that this is the chance that's gone begging. He had all the time in the world, and maybe the pressure's getting to him. But full credit though to the Sharks. They certainly came here with their sleeves rolled up. They knew it was going to be tough. When Halifax put out a team in the front row with Harrison, Skellington, Rowley, you know that they're not going to take a backward step, but full credit to Hull. They've muscled them.
5 minutes to half-time. Headingley leads 18-0 ahead. Half a minute to half-time here. Hull 14-8 ahead on the fourth tackle. Heppy, and he just goes away from one and ghosts up the middle. Oh, what a run from Heppy. He bounces Clinch out the way. If he got that down, but I think he's dropped it. The referee will check on the video. Had he scored that, that was going to be one of the tries of the season.
The ball was
but the referee wants to know if there was a hand in here.
Doesn't matter, it's one-on-one. Doesn't matter whether he does or not, he definitely reefs it out.
That's a great bit of play from Tuilangi then.
That's no try.
Can't go before that blow anyway.
But it'll be a dropout from underneath the six. That's why the referee's asking as to whether there was a hand in. And if there was, and it was, so Reggie Tuilangi drags the ball out, so therefore he'll be deemed as the man that has pushed it dead. So this should really be a dropout, surely, from underneath the sticks.
I think it came off the back of Heppy's hand, actually, but we'll see. The decision is no try, and it's a 20-metre place kick for Halifax, because it came off Hull. Heppy was trying to put the ball down.
Well, surely that must be accidental then.
Mercer, great run just before half-time. That'll lift the Blue Sox. Rowley, Clinch with the kick. It bounced off the back of a Hull player, so they'll keep this movement going with Moana. The tackle is completed standing up, and that's the last action of this first half. And what an exciting first half it's been as well. Halifax ahead 2-0 early, then it was 2-2, then Hull with the Saroo try got the 8-2 advantage. Gibson with the try got Halifax closer. Pearson with the penalty made it 8-8, and then Baildon 7 minutes before half-time with a wonderful individual effort made it 14-8 at half-time to the Hull Sharks. Terrific try this from the Aussie winger David Baildon. 14-8, the Sharks ahead. So just about ready then for the start of the second 40, and we just need the little tee for Mr. Prescott to kick us off, provided by David Baildon. Steve, what would John Pendlebury, the Halifax coach, have said to his charges at half-time? Because they've had 3 wins, and they're looking for their 4th win in a row in Super League for the first time.
I think he would have told him not to look towards the glory of past, but look towards the glory of the future, and not be sucked into the tough, rough game that Hull has sucked them into it. They really have been out-muscled, and I'm sure that that man there, Pendlebury, would have said, look, ignore them, get on with our game plan, forget about the verbals, because there's a lot of things being said to all the players out there.
Well, it began early, didn't it, when Kelvin Skerritt was having a real old set-to with Brad Heppy, and I suppose from a Halifax point of view it went downhill from that moment on. But if you say that, Hull have come here and done their job then, they've upset them.
Of course they have, and I'm sure that Peter Walsh, being an Australian, has got plenty of ideas in regards to ensuring that the Halifax, shall we say, big heads, and I'm sure that's one of the words that they will have been using. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think he committed himself going straight into it. Okay, he did make contact with the left knee, but you could see that he'd already left the ground before the ball made contact with the boot.
It would have been painful, certainly would have been that. Craven driving the ball forward for the Hull Sharks. Let's hear what was actually said in the dressing rooms then during the break. Here's Bill.
Well, you boys have got it just about right. Hull Sharks certainly very happy indeed with that first 40, although they're looking for more improvements in this second half. An extra 10% Peter Walsh wants from his side. And just like John Pendlebury, the Halifax Blue Sox coach, he wants his side to tidy up around the play the ball and maintain possession. Too many mistakes for the coach's liking. I think Halifax are going to be looking to attack the Sharks out wide, out on the left-hand side where they sense there's a gap. But to do that, they've got to win the forward battle, and they really have got to match fire with fire, and they don't feel they're doing that at the moment, Halifax.
Well, we just saw the face of the Hull coach, Peter Walsh, shook his head over this incident here. Hunt passing it to nowhere, and just a hand to it by Jamie Smith. They've got to take their chances, Eddie.
They have, and Halifax are in possession.
Never played that.
It was a knock-on against Bouveng. That's a bad error.
Sure is. Under no pressure whatsoever.
He just dropped it.
Well, I think his left arm caught the stray knee, but he should have got himself in a square position before actually trying to play the ball. He was still on a bad angle. Bad mistake. That could prove very costly indeed.
That was on the very first tackle also, so Hull will breathe a sigh of relief. Here's Murdoch. Leicester. Oh, and Prescott managed to hang on to that, but was totally and completely enveloped then by Chris Chester. Chester heard off, looking for the pass on the inside. Brad Heppy instead decided to attack them down the short side. Hunt at dummy half. He gives it now to Matt Schultz. Oh, that was a big collision with Richard Marshall. Marshall just runs over the grounded Schultz. Murdoch, and here's Craven.
Used him as a shepherd. Craven used not just one but two, and it was Timu, the man that at the last minute went through it. There you see Timu make sure that Harrison couldn't get anywhere near them. Well, they took a quick tap, didn't they, Halifax?
They did, and they were looking for an offside situation against Hull that wasn't forthcoming. And that was young Lee Radford just flicking the feet of the Halifax Blue Sox player there, and nearly a dangerous tackle, but not quite. Now Mercer. Good run from Gary Mercer to within 30 metres now of the Hull Sharks line. Blue Sox with clinch. Now the tall figure of Chester. Measured little kick over the top. And it'll stand up here for Tuilangi, who catches it at pace, dumps the ball back on the inside, and Gibson gets his second. That's a great try from Halifax. A beautiful chip through by the tall figure of Chester. Tuilangi hit it at 100 miles an hour, and Gibson was the man in support. Try number 4 of the season, try number 2 of the night for Damien Gibson.
One move that will break down any sliding defence that's up there quickly, and that's a kick over the top. Chester was perfect with the kick. Tuilangi took it well. Back on the inside. He's a big fella, Tuilangi. He may have just thought about using his strength, but why should you do that when you've got support back on the inside? Gibson finished it off, but it was created by this marvellous chip over into the corner. They tried to get back as quick as they could, but it was far too late. Absolute superb play there by Gibson. He had to reach out for it, but the Blue Sox, they're back.
Wonderful try from Damien Gibson, the former Leeds man, on top form for the Blue Sox this year. And now Martin Pearson with the conversion attempt from bang in front, doesn't make a mistake. And guess what? These fans are watching it level pegging again at 14 points all. Good start to the second half then for the Halifax Blue Sox. 5 minutes gone, 14 apiece, level pegging at the new Shay. This ground that's undergoing a facelift, not only for Halifax Town coming back into the Football League next year, but also for the Halifax Blue Sox here in the Super League. And crowd will be up to a capacity of between 11 and 12,000 by August. And the visit from guess who? The champions, the Bradford Bulls. And a perfect playing surface also for the Blue Sox. Standing 4th in the table, aiming to keep the pressure on for a place in the top 5, having to defend that run from Lee Radford. Hull now, having built the platform in the first half, have it all to do again. Craven has to take the tackle. Heppy at dummy half. Murdoch helps it on to Leicester, and Leicester hoists the midfield bomb, but it goes straight up in the air. Who wants it? Prescott, and it's collected by Tuilangi. flicks the pass away. Moana was the man in support.
Prescott went away, Tuilangi there, and it was a good job that Prescott came back for the second bite. He was well away.
Penalty against Timu.
He was pushing the man, trying to play the football. Put him off balance. He said a few words as well. And he's on his way. That will not help their cause. It has started badly for the Sharks in the second half.
Well, the referee telling Alan Hunt that he had warned the Hull Sharks prior to half-time that the next man would be in the sin bin, and Jason Timu is.
Full credit to the official. Stood by his word. Shakes his head. Well, it's going to be a hard road now for Peter Walsh's side.
Cook Islander Jason Timu returned against Wigan last week following 3 outs suspended. He was in the Cook Islands team, by the way, the 1995 that won the Emerging Nations World Cup final against the Irish. Here's Martin Pearson now, former under-21 Great Britain international. Gives it a good thump as well, but there's a bit of a breeze blowing here at the new Shay, and it doesn't quite make it into the building site behind those posts, but it's found the dead ball area anyway, and so Hull have to drop out from their own 20-metre line. Another chance for Pearson.
Well, it just shows you the importance that when you have a kick, it was Leicester that put it high, and when your fullback Steve Prescott goes for it, you've got to make sure there's someone back to cover you.
Another good little run from Gibson, who's hunting the hat-trick. Rowley finds Harrison, and Harrison drives it up straight down the middle. Campbell and Radford got to him with the tackle. This is Moana. Moana keeps going and looked over the shoulder, saw Mercer that hung on to the football under pressure, and Moana trying to get another penalty out of Steve Ganson. Legs kicking as he gets to his feet. Here's Clinch, ball back at the inside. Mercer then hands it on to Chester, and Chris Chester scores. Oh, the referee's ruled it out. Forward pass.
Get the forward pass.
Forward pass. He must have looked to the touch judge who gave it, and Chris Chester can't believe it.
Well, it looked all right from that angle. Was it this one that was? Well, that's fine. Well, I think they've been badly done to there. He let that go.
Well, that one looks a mile forward, doesn't it, from that angle, but it didn't from the high shot. That's why, Steve-O, they don't go to the video referee to judge on forward passes, because the angle of the camera makes it look one thing one way and another thing when we look at it at another angle.
Well, as you mentioned, the high shot, it made it look as though it was A-OK, wasn't it? That deserved a try. It was beautiful work by Clinch. Started it all off. Chester certainly did well to come on the outside of Mercer.
Here's Schultz taking on Harrison. Oh, loses the ball. 2 men in the tackle. Penalty to Hull.
Go on, Carl.
Well, he was badly done to. It was one-on-one.
Well, that's a forward pass. Probably that was spot on with our rail camera, which goes down the side there. We couldn't see the football because some of the players were in the way. It's, as you say, very difficult indeed. That could be vital, though, late in the game.
That rail camera was the 210 from Hull that you saw there, but this meanwhile is Radford on the charge for Hull. You come out with one a week, I can't believe it. Here comes Murdoch now, and Murdoch gets right underneath the sticks for Halifax. Chances here. Murdoch directing traffic. Oh, he was tackled without the ball by Rowley. He's got the penalty, and that was clever play from Murdoch. He delayed, and Rowley shot out and tackled him without the football. Look.
Well, he was well and truly off that whitewash before the ball was played. You can see that clearly. Nothing that Murdoch could do about it. And surely they'll take a gift 2 points on offer.
getting back to that television camera, what's it running on then if it's not on a rail?
On a track, but it's not called a rail camera.
Over here, mate.
It's called a tracking camera.
And what does it run on?
Rails.
A rail track.
So Rowley penalised, penalty to Hull. Chances here then for Jamie Smith. And already, by the way, Jamie Smith has kicked better tonight than he has in his entire career. Hull really are feeling the pinch when it comes to goal kicking. He managed to get that one over, but he only just squeezed it inside the post. And Hull are ahead 16 points to 14.
Well, they made the mistake.
And there it is. There is the 210 from Hull. There's the rail camera.
Well, Peter Walsh, the Hull coach, had just missed it. Went straight past him. Obviously doesn't stop here at the new Shay. Either way, Hull will be pleased. They've got the 2 points.
Good. Well done.
Now then, what has Kelvin Skerritt got up his sleeve? Just back on, the man, of course, who went to the blood bin first half. Mercer.
Oh, Matt Schultz went at him. Mercer just continued on. Composure is going to be the key now.
Moana did well to hang on to that. Flicks the pass out wide, and this is Des Clark. Good run from Clark. Quick play the ball, and Hull a stretch maybe in defence. This now is clinch. Here's Chester. Chester out wide to Skerritt. Skerritt off the ground, and Chester follows up.
Tremendous take there by the standoff Chris Chester.
This is Skerritt again, and Skerritt a lovely ball again to Chester, and he's come up with a try. He touches down, and Skerritt has only just come back onto the field from the blood bin, but he's come up with two priceless plays then. One that kept the movement going, and then for the final pass to Chris Chester again. No wonder he's smiling. Chester gets the try.
They're both smiling. Unbelievable work here by Kelvin Skerritt. And we could hear that his teammates were saying, Skerritt, it's the last one, it's the last one. Chester said, I know, I'm taking 4. Good support play, what a great run. He offloaded it then, took it on the half volley, Chester, and have a guess who popped up to take it yet again. This is Skerritt. They were screaming at him, saying it's the last one. It was a good one, never mind the last one. Outstanding play by Skerritt. Grins all round and fully deserved.
So Chris Chester, Academy International, this is his 50th appearance for Halifax here, and he has marked it with the try. Pearson flicks the ball over the top of the crossbar from bang in front, and Halifax have the lead for the first time since the second minute, when that man Martin Pearson kicked them ahead into a 2-point advantage. Have they hit the front at just the right time? 53 minutes, 54 minutes now of this match gone. 20 points to 16 though. We've had some great games, Steve, haven't we? Oh, what a hit that was on young Lee Radford.
Well, sometimes you chance your arm, and that's what Skerritt certainly did on that occasion. Prop forward said, let me have a second go at this. Remember, it was him that got him into that position. He wanted it again. He was eager. Perhaps when they should have been looking for the kick, they run the power play and they've come up trumps.
Remember, of course, Hull down to 12 men with Jason Timu in the sin bin. And if I remember rightly, we had a try earlier in the match when Halifax were down to 12 men. Now then, Dio Powell is trapped, chased by Saroo, and Baildon wrestles him into the ground. Timu waiting to come back, still got 60 seconds or thereabouts to serve.
Well, it proved very costly, didn't it? Timu in the sin bin, and it appears that Halifax are starting to take control now.
Skerritt again. Logan Campbell got to him, helped out by Craven.
Well, I must say, Eddie, a lot of people thought that when Skerritt was given the second chance by Halifax, it looked as though that Skerritt was on the scrap heap. He'd gone, he'd finished, so everybody said.
but not with play like that.
Martin Moana did well then. Rowley picked up the pieces. This is Mercer. Now it's with Chester again. The hole's opened up for Chris Chester. He tries to step round Prescott and did. It was a good job that Heppy was there. Last tackle here for Halifax. Moana again. Back to Mercer. Looping pass to Clinch. Clinch dabs it through. And Prescott picks up the pieces for Hull.
Nice option by Clinch, but equal to that task was Prescott. Wonderful positional play.
Here, come on.
Don't forget, we have the State of Origin 3 for you live here on Sky Sports 1. Friday, 2 weeks today at 11 a.m. with highlights 6:30 that night on Sky Sports 1 prior to our match at Headingley. New South Wales having beaten Queensland in State of Origin 2 earlier today. Highlights of that game on World of Super League Wednesday, but the decider live on Sky Sports 2 weeks today at 11 a.m. Keeping you in touch with events in the rugby league world on both sides of the globe. What a tackle that was, meanwhile, from Tuilangi, and he's at it again. Tries to clear Murdoch out. Murdoch does well to get the kick in to touch. But Tuilangi running round and taking the applause from the supporters here. Oh, it's an earth mover, that.
Unbelievable. Talk about putting your body on the line. Murdoch did well just to bounce up from that.
Don't be sensitive too long on the tackle. Get off, move quick.
6 tackles from Tuilangi personally. And there were a couple there that made the earth shudder.
He looks as though he's got no fear, does he?
Here he
goes again there. It's as though he's playing with midget gems scattered in his hair. Unbelievable. That is sheer strength. The crowd are loving this.
It is, and there's no midget gem there as far as Tuilangi's concerned. The lad's a giant. Leeds 30, Huddersfield 4. Later score after 20 minutes of the second half, so it looks like Leeds are continuing at the top of the table. Behind them there's a real race developing, and Halifax are involved in it. This is Pearson. Pearson for support. Gibson. Lovely play. Back on the inside. Try for Jamie Bloom. Jamie Bloom gets the try. The referee, though, holds up and will go to the video referee.
He didn't put the foot on the dead ball line before he put the ball line.
Jamie Bloom's foot on the dead ball line is what he wants to know. Very narrow in goal here at the new Shay. Did Bloom touch the whitewash before he touched down? No, he didn't.
Just.
Not much in the air.
Not much in it. Oh, take it back. Yeah, there we go. Watch the little white thing. Just. Oh, another quarter of inch on the sprig. That would have been a shame for that try not to be disallowed. Pearson's break was simply breathtaking.
Down goes the ball.
Yeah.
And the foot's in the air.
That was just outstanding by Pearson.
On the nod of the video referee, Jamie Bloom, the South African who's on the comeback trail in Super League, gets his first try for Halifax. Great try too.
Chance your arm deep within your own territory. Out wide there, and Pearson threw an enormous dummy there. Alan Hunt was just left clutching air. Gibson did well. Well, we complained about the support play by Halifax in the first half, but you can't say that in this second stanza. Outstanding. Look at the dummy there. They'd gone for it. He'd gone for it. Gibson knew exactly what he had to do. They were queuing up, but Jamie Bloom, he'll enjoy that. What a try.
Well, Jamie Bloom got a goal against Sheffield last week. He played in the last 4, 2 at fullback, 2 as a substitute, the former witness man. And really, that's a splendid try from the Blue Sox. And Pearson now with another attempt at goal. He went through the 200-point barrier with his last kick for the Blue Sox. Now he makes it 202 points for Halifax. And Blue Sox suddenly have taken a grip on this match. 26 points to 16.
Take a bow, Mr. Pearson. Wonderful play. Out wide, watch him throw the dummy. They missed it. Off he went. Beautiful play. Back on the inside. Gibson did well. Jamie Bloom through. Philly Saroo took the dummy. My apologies to Alan Hunt. It was not Hunt that missed it.
It was Saroo that took the dummy from Pearson. It was a superb one, though.
And it was a super try from Jamie Bloom. He just sneaked on, and that, I think, was Jamie Bloom's first touch of the football.
Well, that may be the first touch of his football in this game. He also got a real rollicking from his skipper, who said, don't ever do that again. Make sure you get the ball down.
Such a confident lad, though. Did I see him say, don't worry, I know. I knew it was in, no problem. Well, here come Hull. What have they got now in reply? Hunt is enveloped by the tackle. Gibson hunting Murdoch now and putting Murdoch under pressure. Midfield bomb, and Pearson comes up with it.
Fine take. Certainly having a great second half. Did all that was requested upon him in the first 40, even though that they weren't allowed much space, Halifax. And you just get the impression that the whole defence is tiring somewhat.
Who's your man of the match? You can vote now. 0891 33 33 13. And if you win the viewers' competition tonight, you're on your way to Old Trafford on the 24th of October for Super League's Night of Nights, the grand final. And of course you will also enter for the draw for the VIP box as well. So well worth picking up that phone and voting for the man who's caught your eye. Here goes Bloom again. Flicks the pass inside. Seru intercepts. Out though. Bundled into touch by this outstanding Halifax defence.
Did well, did Bloom, to get it back on the inside, but it was good position there by the big three-quarter, Saroo. And again, the defence was good. It was clinch. He's done his bit. Moana went over the top, but not for clinch. The little fella got him down, and then they finished him off.
Des Clark was the heavyweight reinforcement that came in. Penalty at the scrum against Hull. They didn't pack down properly. They didn't wait until the ball came out of that scrum. Don't forget that grand final is down for Saturday, October 24th at Old Trafford with a 6:30 kickoff. If you need any more information, 0113 234 4455. Normal office hours Monday to Friday for Super League Europe. They'll tell you how, where and when for the grand final. Follow the race all the way to Old Trafford with us here on Sky Sports throughout this summer. It will be an electric run to the grand final. Talking of electric runs, there was nearly another one then from Jamie Bloom. Will Halifax be in the grand final? The dark horses of Super League 3. Well, they're maintaining their credentials and they're maintaining the march on this top 5. Skerritt is off injured and Richard Marshall has returned. This meanwhile is Mercer. Mercer goes straight the way through the defence and scores a great try. Well, they have a new breed here at Halifax this year, and the confidence is flowing through this team. They had a difficult opening 40, but my word, they've taken hold of this game by the scruff of the neck second half. And take a bow, John Pendlebury. His half-time team talk has worked wonders here.
Halifax has decided to play open rugby league football, not just mix it like they did in the first half. And you can see it was very poor defence. I'm taking nothing away from the New Zealanders' try. Mercer did well there, but you can see they failed to move up out wide. They failed to move up on the blind side. They hung back. It was not the best effort from the second and the first marker. He takes the accolades, throws the dummy. Where was the second marker? He was too slow. The one line of defence had held back, and when you do that, you will pay the price.
Well, Gary Mercer, such a popular figure in his days at Headingley with Leeds, formerly with Bradford and Warrington, of course, and now a big favourite on the terraces here. He arrived from New Zealand 10 years ago. 21 New Zealand test caps, all the experience in the world, 2 tries in Super League 3. Pearson misses with that conversion attempt. But Halifax 30, Hull 16, and Hull now with the proverbial mountain to climb.
There you see them, 2 circled, 2 very tired defenders indeed. Not moving forward, they hung back, and once he set off from dummy half, once the first and second marker never got to him, there was no chance that anyone else was going to do.
So can Hull stage the fight back?
Well, it's a pretty steep mountain to climb now for Hull, who, as I say, are looking very tired in defence. But
great defence from Gibson.
It's amazing what a half-time pep talk can do to a side. And I'm sure that John Pendlebury will be very pleased with his second half performance. They've got the ball out wide. They've forgotten about the niggling tactics that were on show in the first 40 minutes. They've gone around their business, and it looks like the winning bonus is going their way.
Alan Hunt, he won't pack in. Neither will Prescott, but the ball comes loose. And the referee will play the knock on, the first one. Daleton has a little shake of the head. Looked as though it was going so well for Hull when he streaked over in the first half.
Well, he couldn't blame the Hull skipper, Alan Hunt, for trying to keep the ball alive at 30 points to 16. With time running out, you've got to go down to desperate measures. On the other hand, the Blue Sox, all they have to do is play smart football, not play dumb football, and offload in tight situations. Play out your six and control your kick and chase game, and the two valuable points will be theirs.
Well, Halifax have scored 22 points without reply in this second half. Really have taken control of the match. Pearson not too impressed with the challenge then of David Stevenson.
Jason Timu there, the prop forward on the hunt. There really has been some bone-crunching tackles.
This is Harrison. Plays the ball to Rowley. He gives it to Clinch. And it reaches Moana. Moana is tackled right on the halfway line by the Hull Sharks. Clinch with a little kick over the top. Drifts it into the corner. This will be interesting. It's one for Jamie Smith to chase. But they get him in goal. Gibson leading the race. Damien Gibson's had a fine game for the Blue Sox tonight.
I mentioned the fact that all you got to do is make sure your kick and chase game is up to scratch, and it certainly was on that occasion. Neat little chip over there by the halfback Gavin Clinch. And the second half, the halfback pairing of Chester and Clinch really have started to fire. That's the reason why there's so many gaps appearing out wide. They're playing as a team now, the Blue Sox.
Jamie Bloom was tackled. Rowley gives it to Mercer. Last try scorer for the Blue Sox. He's crunched by 3. The tackle is completed with him standing up even though he falls. Rowley will take them on. Loses the ball in the tackle. Good tackle by David Stevenson in the end. This is Saroo.
Well, John Pendlebury, the Halifax coach, will be disappointed there that Paul Rowley lost the football. I'm sure that they were setting up for the 1 point. Just had an extra nail in that coffin.
Good drive up the middle here from Craven. He only gets to halfway though before Pearson gets to him. Stevenson dummy half. Leicester to Murdoch. Murdoch then gets the ball away to Campbell. Good defence from the Blue Sox again, and Gibson in particular. Here's Ocassini. They look a different kettle of fish when he's on the field also. Now Murdoch. Long looping pass, good ball. The movement is continued by Barrow. Still 10 minutes of this game to go. Prescott with a dink over the top. And Pearson claims it underneath his own sticks in goal, diffuses the bomb. Tap on the 20.
Good positional play. Having a whale of a time the second half, Martin Pearson. Build up there from Hull was pretty adventurous. It was a beautiful long ball from Craig Murdoch to the second rower, Steve Barrow. So Halifax cannot afford just to sit back, rest on their laurels.
Bloom in the end takes the second tackle. 22 metres the Blue Sox have made thus far. That's Baldwin. Simon Baldwin only just on, the England international. There he is again, but all wrapped up. Rowley now, attacking from dummy half, straight up the middle. Good run, but a forward pass to Baldwin.
Good positional there by the referee, Steve Ganson. Even Baldwin, I think, realised that that was just slightly forward. You can see that the big frame of Baldwin had already passed the ball carrier.
Paul Rowley, though, remember, he was his was the torso who appeared on the advertising hoardings around the country for the return of Super League this year. Beef on the bone was well and truly on the menu from April, and I trust that you're enjoying this race to the grand final in October here on Sky Sports, and you'll stay with us throughout the summer. Craven, support arrives from Stevenson. 36-4 leads ahead. They will stay top of the tree tonight. They're going well at Headingley. They're not going badly here at the new Shay.
You had loads of time to pull away. Don't go through. I don't want that coming in again.
Penalty against Des Clark.
Back in.
There was something in back play. The ball had already been offloaded and well spotted by Steve Ganson. Clark, the culprit. Well, that's a silly penalty to give away. The one thing you don't want to do is to apply pressure to your own teammates. Oh, another big hit there.
Alan Hunt went straight for the posts, and Des Clark stood his ground, firm as a rock. Ocassini now. Who's your man of the match? 0891 33 13. Call still being accepted. Murdoch with a little run, gets the pass away to Barrow. David Stevenson, dummy half. Now what's Leicester got in the box? Nothing. Has to take the tackle. Fourth. They've made 69 metres though. They're in a dangerous situation here. Craven up the middle.
Worked hard as Craven since he came on.
Last tackle. They're trying to run it out wide with Prescott, who dabs it through. That will be too deep. He's narrowing goals this year, Steve-O. They're testing those little grubber kicks throughout the Super League, not just here.
Nearly all clubs are making sure that they're pretty narrow. At one time they try to make him as deep as possible so that they could utilize the bomb, but nowadays they sort of go on a negative approach. Let's just prevent the opposition from utilizing that ploy. And the way that Halifax are playing, especially in the second half, they really have played some enterprising football. And again, we see the half-back combination. They really are working hard in the second half.
Moana looked for the penalty that wasn't forthcoming from the referee.
Just basic play, that's all is needed by Halifax now.
Clinch over the top. Into the corner. Chases on. Baildon collects it. Trapped, but does well. He gets away from Bouveng. That's a good run from the Hull wing.
Good play from both sides. Yet again, a beautiful kick by Gavin Clinch. His kicking game tonight has been superb.
Murdoch. And here's Ocassini. Out wide it goes. And Logan Campbell gets the pass away. Ocassini again roughs it up to the halfway line. Brad Heppy is the man at dummy half. Here's Alan Hunt.
Full credit to the Sharks. They've not thrown the towel in. They're trying to keep this ball, get it out wide in every opportunity. But the Halifax defence has been quite solid.
Murdoch hoists the kick. It's a tester for Pearson. Fumbles it. Prescott flicks the ball back. Halifax have got it. The referee, though, will take the first knock on.
Tried the advantage. It came off Pearson's right hand. And that's the reason why the referee Ganson was allowing the advantage.
And it's Hull's head and feet at the scrum because of the knock on by Martin Pearson under pressure from Prescott.
Well, the option was good. It was a high kick. Murdoch made sure of that. But was Prescott just in front? It appeared that way, but not seen by the official.
Ball's out with Murdoch. Here's Prescott. Diagonal runner, it was Baildon. Flicked the pass away to Heppy. Prescott keeps it going. Good job for Seru that he did. But look at that defence from Halifax. Great stuff. Baldwin just pushed and pushed the player back. Murdoch. Baldwin again with Rowley. Snuffing the danger out. Lester. Lester gets the ball away under pressure. Nice run from Campbell. No support. Ball came out.
Certainly lost it. Clinch finished up with it. And it was Clinch's ankle tap that just made sure that he didn't go any further. Logan Campbell certainly caught a stray knee there, I'm sure. As he hits the deck, watch for the knees coming through.
Yeah, and Clinch caught one as well, so we've got Campbell down and Clinch down receiving treatment now.
Well, I'm sure Ferretti Tuilangi certainly caught a knee, and you can see that he's having a few problems with that, because I'm sure it went fair and square in the face of Logan Campbell, the hole loose forward.
Well, it'll be a major blow for Halifax if Tuilangi is injured, and Campbell is a little concussed, but Tuilangi is made of sterner stuff, and he will carry on. Final score, and Leeds have run away with it against the Huddersfield Giants, 54 points to 4, top against bottom in the Super League, and it's reflected in the scoreline. 54 points to 4, so Leeds march on, and that's almost a three-pointer tonight for Leeds, Steve-O, with the points difference.
Certainly will help. Leeds really are in fine form,
and they've come up, by the way, with the biggest win in Super League this year there tonight. That's 9 from 9 now for Leeds. Logan Campbell going off, concussed. John Pendlebury, though, the Halifax coach, the only English coach in the top 5, and hasn't he done well?
Certainly has. The half-time pep talk that we discussed, and he must be pleased with the way that they've become professional in the second half, not being sucked into this niggling attitude. That'll be play on, but is it an advantage? It was a knock-on. It was reefed down with one hand, one-on-one. The referee said it was okay. Jamie Bloom will just take this ball up, and that's all Halifax really have to do now.
Yes, 3 minutes to go. They're in the driving seat. I think they're on their way to their 7th victory of the Super League campaign. It'll do their top 5 ambitions no harm at all. And Craven is penalised for lying all over Baldwin as the big second row tried to get to his feet.
Sheer frustration here. He knows there's barely 3 minutes left, and they're just trying to slow things down. Well, what a great kick. I don't know whether that was intended, but it bounced twice in open field.
Peter Walsh knows that his team have gone 7 games here and have ended up on the losing side each time. He's got a major rebuilding plan to put into operation for the Hull Sharks. Marshall clobbered by Ocassini. Rowley dummy half. Here's Clinch. Ball back on the inside to Moana, who takes the tackle from 3 more. Rowley to Clinch again. Marshall has stayed in support. Moana dancing one way and then the other.
Come on, Ezo, get off him!
In the end, had to take the tackle, bang in front of the Hull posts. Clinch, quick hands to Baldwin. Baldwin with an outrageous dummy. That seals the win. Baldwin comes up with a try. Referee stops the clock. Hands it on to the video ref. What's he want to check this time?
Baldwin had full control of that ball when he
did he have full control is what he's looking for.
But I just want to check it out.
Well, no problem with this, that the referee goes for the decision and makes absolutely sure.
No, he lost it. It definitely left his hand. Yep.
Oh, yes, it has. It's been dropped.
Well spotted by Steve Ganson there. For all the world, it looked like a try. He was in a great position with the official, but he certainly lost control of it.
And how about that for eagle eyes from Steve Ganson? No try, lost control over the line, 20-metre place kick. The referee knew what he was looking for. And that's an indication of a referee, Steve-O, like Stuart Cummings last week at Leeds and Saints at Knowsley Road, being right on top of his game.
Certainly was. He was in a great position to see what was going on there. Did a fine match, Steve Ganson.
And you've got to applaud these referees. Very early in the game, yet again, like we saw last weekend, last Sunday, they punished anyone that was rolling on, made sure that any interference at the play of the ball will be penalised. And that's the only way they're going to get the message across.
Heppy, that's a good ball. Saroo.
Well, they lost it in the end there. I must say, the hooker, Brad Heppy, has tried his heart out for Hull, both in attack and defence. It was Saroo that took the pass from him, but it was a good run on the blind side by the hooker, Heppy.
Little shake of the head from Philly. Saroo lost control of the football, as did Simon Baldwin, Stephen, with that try. What's happened, I wonder, to the style where the players slide the ball underneath their body over the line, so as not to make any mistake like that, losing the football as they plonk it over the line? What's happened to that?
Well, it would be pretty harsh to say that John Pendlebury, of course, an English man, and that has been the style in the English Rugby League football for many, many a day. Australians, of course, as we all know, they dive over. There's never any chance of that.
Prescott does well to get that ball back into the field of play, but that's the last action of this match. And Halifax Blue Sox under the control of John Pendlebury, well, he puts the cheeks out. Does the Halifax coach. He knows his team have been in a battle. They certainly were at half-time. They were trailing 14-8. But they came back and they came up well in the second half. And Tuilangi, well, he has been at the heart of this victory. Didn't actually get over the line himself for a try, but has been big on attack and big in defence. And Peter Walsh's men know, little grimace from the Hull coach, he knows that his team now have got the worst record in the entire game. They had it before this match, but throughout the three divisions of the Rugby League, there is no side that has gone 7 games straight and ended up on the losing side. Alan Hunt's Hull have, and they have got problems. But Halifax haven't. They have won this match by 30 points to 16. Simon Baldwin might have added the try right at the end, only for the decision by the video referee. But Chris Chester's a happy man, so is Freddie Tuilangi and Billy and Bluey, the 2 Halifax mascots here. And they know that these people on the terraces and those out there on the field, that realistically, Halifax in 1998 have got a great chance of making it to the top 5. 7th place last year, 6th in 1996, but they're on course to emulate their 3rd place finish in centenary year. And Halifax Blue Sox are on their way to a place in the top 5 and that all-important spot in the top 3, which means you have home advantage throughout the playoff series. First visit here to the Halifax New Shay Stadium. Great win for the Halifax Blue Sox by 30 points to 16. They destroyed the Sharks in the second half. Gibson with 2 tries, Chester, Bloom and Mercer with the tries. Goals, 5 of them from Pearson. Hull Sharks fought well, particularly in the first half. Saroo and Baildon with their tries and 4 goals from young Jamie Smith. Now then, who's your man of the match? Gibson with his 2 tries, just 9%. Pearson, 33% of your votes. It's all been Halifax. And Tuilangi is your man of the match with 46% of the poll. So well done to him. And here he is now talking with Bill.
Freddie, congratulations on winning man of the match. You won £200 worth of sports equipment, courtesy of Puma, to go to a junior club of your choice. Who's that going to be?
Hey, we've been coaching one of the local schools for experiment here at Halifax, so I must be going to the Vibrant Valley School.
Okay, but what about this game? It really was down to your second half performance, wasn't it, that turned it?
Yeah, it's credit to the Hull Sharks. They come up here and they perform to their best, and they prove that they're one of the competitive side in the Super League. But it's thanks to our guys that we played for a full 80 minutes.
What is it about this Halifax Blue Sox side? I mean, it's not maybe the most fashionable, not the most star-studded, but you're certainly making progress in Super League, aren't you?
Yes, we play well as a team unit. We have no stars, but we play as a full team. So credit to all the lads that they play for they've done their best for the team.
Thanks very much, Freddie. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I think that the second half from Halifax proves truly that they are contenders to get to the grand final this year. They cannot be treated lightly.
No, they cannot be. And what a night for Jamie Bloom. We featured him, didn't we, in our build-up before the match, making his big comeback into Super League this year at Halifax Blue Sox. scored a try too, and here he is talking to Bill.
Jamie, there's some debate whether that was your first touch that gave you the try, was it?
Yeah, first touch. First touch, yeah.
And you nearly blew it.
Well, I was just giving the crowd something to look at. You know, make them feel a bit more at home.
Were you conscious it was that close?
No, not really. I was just that happy to get over the line for a change. So I just wanted to get behind the post, you know, because at that time it was still pretty tight. And we needed to get behind the post and get the 6 points.
Well, we heard you before the game saying that the Blue Sox are giving you this chance after you've come back from your ban. I mean, you obviously mean to take that chance.
Oh yeah, I'm here to stay. You know, I've got a long contract here with Halifax. They've given me a chance, so I'm going to repay them as best I can.
Well, this is the first time the Blue Sox have won 4 games in a row in Super League. The side really is on a roll, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first half we didn't play real well today, but the second half we started putting it together. You know, calming down a bit, playing the 6 out, and putting the good kick in. And I think that's just the essence of it. Like we said before, it's no superstars here. We play as a team for each other, and that's all that matters.
Thanks very much, Jamie.
No problem.
Let's see how the table looks after tonight's matches. Leeds march on at the top, 54-4 winners over the Huddersfield Giants. We'll have a report on that one for you a little later on in the programme. Halifax now have moved up to 3rd. They're 4 points behind the leaders. Wigan, of course, sandwiched in between, have a game in hand, as do the Bradford Bulls, who are in 4th, and the Saints, who are in 5th. And we'll see you again, I trust, on Sunday. Wilderspool the place, Warrington, Bradford the game. Until then, from us all, bye-bye. Oh, what a crunching tackle on Murdoch. Lovely break. That's Leicester, and he finds Saroo, and Saroo plonks it down behind the post. And wide it goes to Tuilangi. Tuilangi with the ball back to Gibson. Gibson started it, Gibson finished it. Good run from Baildon, and he cuts inside Clint, and he goes through Pearson, and he loses his boot in the tackle, but gets the try. And it'll stand up here for Tuilangi, who catches it at pace.